Welcome to The Actor and Agent, aka The Dirt or The Skinny, with me, Jen.
And me, Snezina.
Wow, it's recording. That's exciting. Okay, cool. So, yes. So this is the first time that we actually have 3 people that I'm recording at once. That's kind of intense, but it's all good. So obviously everyone's aware of both me and Snezina, but we actually have a guest today, and it is Joshua Young.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Ooh, so exciting. How have your guys? How have your weeks been? Like, what have you been up to? Like, you've been watching anything? Listening to any cool podcasts, books?
You go first, Snezina.
I watch a lot of TV. I've been watching a lot of just happy-go-lucky reality TV shows. I watched one called Extreme Engagement, where this Australian couple goes to all these like crazy tribes around the world to learn if they're going to be a good couple. It's actually pretty fun.
Oh, sweet.
And it's like nice because they're traveling, so you get to watch it. But yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
Please tell me there's an episode where they go to a cannibalistic tribe, because they're still around. There's still a few out there.
Might actually. No, I think they might actually.
Oh,
but
man.
I also watched The Lost City of Z recently.
Okay.
And they go into like Brazil to try to find this lost city, and they do go to a cannibalistic tribe.
Oh, interesting.
Sweet.
So maybe
It's funny
that's
how
what
it
I'm
all just
thinking
ties
about.
in. Nice.
Yeah.
So is that on Netflix, or is that where's
It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I
And
need
it looks
to...
like they
check
pitched
that
it
out.
to Netflix or something because the guy's a director.
Oh.
And he was just doing that himself, just traveling around the world doing crazy things. And he sort of got engaged to his wife or his fiance and then left her and started traveling and doing these things.
Oh, wow.
And then invited her to come so they could kind of test their relationship. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I kind of ate through it.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. There's no bigger test other than, I guess, the last year in the pandemic. But
I mean, it's a classic. It's a classic saying too. You don't know the real love of your relationship in the depth until you visited a cannibalistic tribe with your loved one. I mean, it's a common quote.
Of course, absolutely. What about you, Joshua? What have you been up to?
No, I need to start watching Snezina's shows because they're way. Well, actually, they're not better, but I need some variety. Because every morning and every night I put on the AirPods, and yes, I turn on Star Trek. I have to.
Nice.
It's relaxing. And because if I watch anything that I haven't already seen, it's I'll get too engaged. That's kind of my thing. But my favorite show right now, hands down, it's Dairy Girls.
I knew you were going to say that. Awesome.
I
love
love Dairy
Dairy
Girls. I have watched it.
It's so good. I'm working on a script that where one of the actors who I'm hoping to cast for it, Miranda, she referenced Orla from Dairy Girls as part of the inspiration of the character in the script, and there's a few other characters on it too, but I was like, what's this Dairy Girls? And I'm next to Gavin and Stacey. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, amazing. I think I've only seen a couple of episodes, and I really, really loved it, but I just
Never
I think it was
connected?
Lee. He struggles. He even though he's English, he actually struggles with like any other accents. Like he just needs subtitles, and he's just
you
like,
get used to it though.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
we
guess
had to
I-
turn the subtitles on. There was
Yeah.
no way around it. But
I have Sean here, who's Irish,
Oh,
my
true.
fiance, but he can't watch it because it's kind of like been there, done that for him. But I guess for people who aren't Irish, it's really hilarious. If that
Fair.
makes any sense.
No, that makes sense.
actually, it's crazy because the creator of the show, whose name I don't know why I forget now, but she didn't write the show for years, despite pressures from family and friends, because she was like, I went through it. It was the same reason why I didn't do my cruise ship series until maybe a decade later, as far as writing it goes, because I was like, I already did it. I don't want to go through it again. You know what I mean?
Crazy. Yeah, that's an interesting
I understand
perspective,
that
actually.
feeling. I understand that feeling. Sometimes I want to write like novels about my relationships that I've had. I find
totally.
some of them are pretty interesting, but I'm like, do you really want to like go through all of that right now again? Yes, so I get it.
Ooh, yeah. But I mean, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it is
So,
good stuff.
I'm glad you're watching that. I actually really want to rewatch it again, just for happiness.
And the nun in it, she needs the actor needs every award out there because she's the best. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
she's
God.
great. Jen?
Me. Oh yeah, I watched. I just finished off this series on Netflix, and it was effed up. It was called Behind Her Eyes. I don't know if either of you. I know Snezina, you haven't watched it
Started
yet.
last night
man.
on episode 2. It's not as
Holy
freaky
crap.
yet, so I guess it takes time to kind of
it
build into the weirdness.
literally shocks you to your core. It makes
exciting.
you feel quite dirty, actually, in a weird way.
What?
Yes,
That's crazy.
I don't know
I'm
how
looking
to
this up
explain
right
it.
now.
Yeah, it's. I mean, how do you even explain it?
A single mother
you
enters
go.
a world of twisted mind games when she begins an affair. Wait, I can do this in a more radio voice. When she begins an affair with her psychiatrist boss while secretly befriending his mysterious wife. Seems very mysterious.
It is very mysterious, but there's also
Who's
this weird.
apparently Bono's daughter,
Who's Bono's daughter?
the wife.
No.
That's what
Really?
Jen said.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Well, there
The
you
woman in the photos looks like she would be Bono's daughter.
There you
Well,
go. Sorry
there you
to
go.
interrupt.
No, but yeah, we finished it about 2 days ago, and when it finished, both Lee and I were shell shocked. We actually couldn't talk. Yeah, it's very.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was.
It better live up to that, Jen.
Oh, it will. It will. I will be shocked if it doesn't. But yeah, yeah. So other than that, I mean, there's yeah, that's we don't really tend to have a lot of time to watch stuff in the evening, so it mainly ends up just being like one episode a night, and it's obviously taken us a while. But now that we've got to the end of it, we're like, oh my, we need something a little bit uplifting now. I think maybe Dairy Girls.
Dairy Girls. I'll tell you one show that I think it's lowly rated. I mean, it's still like a 6 out of 10 on IMDb, but it's The Rain. Have you guys heard about this TV show, The Rain? I know.
I don't think I have
I
actually.
don't think so, no.
It's one of those things. Look it up. It's on Netflix, and it's I can't remember. Is it Dutch or it is subtitled, but it is amazing. The relationships, the characters. I obviously have a crush on Alba August, who's the lead,
Nice.
and but it's like the show is just amazing. It basically takes place in a world where, regular world, and then rain comes down, like it usually does, and except it starts killing people.
Oh, I think I
the
remember.
rain like rain.
Yes,
Rain,
I
yeah.
actually
The
think
rain
I
like a
remember
rain.
seeing something about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks really cool, actually.
Yeah.
It gets
vaguely
very
remember.
kind of Marvel at the end of the second-ish season, and it wraps up either in season 2 or season 3, I think. But it builds itself really well, and I love the character relationships. So
Sweet.
yeah,
I'll have to give that
something
a
to check out.
go. Cool.
Have you noticed how on Netflix, if once you see something like that and then like a month or two passes, some things just disappear and you
Yeah.
can't find them through scrolling. Like you literally have to
Oh.
type it in because
Yeah.
they just bury it somewhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then I just forget. So.
Yeah.
Netflix perpetually wants me to stop watching Star Trek.
It's like you've watched that now. Let's try something different.
Yeah, they're literally like I'm single right now, but it's like having somebody with you're watching it every day. Would you just try this? Try this.
It's like we
bring
think
our
you'd like
friends.
this.
You.
Yeah.
You know? It's so bad. It's so bad.
Oh,
I
no,
think
but it's
Netflix
so
is
bad.
right
Sorry.
in this
Yeah.
case, though.
No. Cool. But yeah, I really wanted to just find out how you guys were doing and what you're consuming and stuff. But obviously today's episode is to deep dive into the world of Joshua Young. So
Oh, God.
I know. So
sounds
obviously
scary.
it does, doesn't it? It's scary and exciting and a little bit thrilling. But obviously I have known you, Joshua, for quite a few years. And obviously I did go over it a tiny bit in the first episode about how we first met.
You guys talked about me in the first episode.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? No,
yeah, what?
Hair
it's
flick.
like, call my agent. What? But yeah, I've known you in so many different areas of the industry. I mean, I think I said this in last week's episode that literally, I could literally be like, okay, Joshua Young, who is he? He's an actor, he's a writer, he's a director, he's a producer, he's a voice artist, he's an editor, he's and I'm probably missing acting coach. Yeah, exactly. There's literally so much. So now, how would you describe yourself more accurately? All of those?
High functioning Virgo.
Okay.
That's probably no, I have no idea. How would I describe myself? Great. Well, I mean, to be honest, it's one thing that I found really interesting because we met in Halifax, and when I was teaching a class, and became friends. And then when I got to Vancouver a couple months before you, and you went through the story very accurately, I might add, in the first episode, at least from my perspective as well. And when I went to Vancouver, I was really self-aware that in Halifax, I was known as an actor, voice artist, and acting coach. And I wanted that dialogue to change when I went to Vancouver, where I was known as, yeah, I do acting, but I'm also a screenwriter. And it was really weird to see how everybody, all the friends you made, how they saw you, how they treated you in comparison to how they saw you in the industry in Halifax. So I just found it interesting. Maybe you've seen this too, where like depending on which city you're in, everyone has a different story about who you are. So the number one dialogue I kind of want, I don't know if dialogue is the right word, but basically I want people to see me first and foremost nowadays as a screenwriter, and hopefully eventually a showrunner, as far as kind of like who I am, and hopefully a nice guy. I donate blood, so I can't be a terrible guy, I guess.
Yeah, how many times?
A lot
you
of
do.
blood.
You do. You must just be like an endless supply.
That's just me bragging. It's actually so bad at this point. I talked to I have a nutritionist because there was no way. I've battled with weight loss for so many years because I have an autoimmune disorder that's affected it, and I finally found the best nutritionist for me. And she's like an incredible scientist, and she has figured out what works for my body, what doesn't as far as eating goes. Nice. And I'm dropping weight extremely quickly. What was my point with that? And
blood donations.
Oh, blood donations. So I told her how much I've donated, which I will reveal in a second. And she goes, okay. And she like puts down her coffee during the video chat. And she's like, because we were talking about, staying vegetarian, pescatarian?
Oh, yeah, pescatarian.
Pescatarian kind of situation where I was at, or reintroducing ethically slaughtered, organic grass-fed meat. And she was like, at first she was like, you really should. And then after hearing how much blood I've donated, she's like, okay, you have to actually. And from her perspective, everyone will have different points of view of that. But it's this April, it'll be my 82nd blood donation.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's incredible. That is actually really quite admirable. But wow.
Well, my days are numbered. She wanted me to quit, but I told her I have to get up to 100 because that's always been the goal. But at this point, I've discovered that they've been going out of, and I won't describe anything else, but they've been going out of my left arm for the first 70 or so donations. And let's just say they can't out of the left arm anymore.
Oh, wow.
Because veins only have so much scar tissue and whatnot. And so I'm down to one arm. I'm literally like dragging myself across the finish line trying to get to 100, where I'm like, this vein, it's the last vein.
Exactly.
Yeah, between the toes, I don't care. Like, it's bad.
Oh my gosh. But that's, I mean, to be honest though, like considering how many people don't donate, I feel like if anything, you're just like making up for everyone who isn't donating and just being like, I'll take it.
Yep. All of my friends that, that can't, or if you have a legitimate fear that you can't get over, I get it. It's fine. I really am doing enough for a lot of people. It's It's totally fine. And
I
like
you.
the culture.
I got you.
I got you, man.
Yeah.
I got you.
And I like the culture. I like the culture of the blood donation clinic. They're always happy to see you, of course.
Of
and
course.
there's cookies, there's chocolate milk. In Canada, they don't pay you. I think in America, you get paid.
Oh.
It used to be something like $10
wow.
a donation.
Wow.
But I'm happy they don't pay us.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of
Seems
collapsed
right.
veins everywhere as well. I think people would just be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
We
you
got
do it
another
enough, on your own, just like being lovely and kind. Let alone people who are after money and be like, $10 a go, go on, take it out of both
Yeah.
arms.
Totally.
Not that would even be a thing, but
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's my blood donation. But my nutritionist is very concerned, and she's like, "You are going to eat so much red meat because of me." I'm like, "Okay, fine.
think, okay, I'll
I'm not
take
going to
it.
complain."
I'll take it. But as far as your very, very beginnings of getting into the entertainment industry, like I have quite a good idea on your very, very beginnings, but I would love for you to share that on here. Like, how did it all start for you? As far as maybe acting, and then maybe segueing into the screenwriting.
Okay, well, I have been able to kind of Cole's notes this.
Cool.
Because as you know, it's no path to success goes from A to B.
Mm-hmm.
It's this insane infinity figure 8 S-shaped thing. My very first role in the entertainment industry was as a donkey in a Christmas play. I think I was like 5 years old, and I didn't understand. I didn't understand the relationship with the lights that were on us versus the audience. For some reason, I thought that the lights, because I couldn't see the audience because of the blinding lights, I didn't think the audience could see me if I did some things.
Oh my gosh.
So this is how warped my brain was. And there was a best friend of mine in the front row. And so during the one scene I was in, I was a terrible actor. During the one scene I was in as a donkey, I would kind of bring up my two front feet or hooves or whatever and jump on my two front feet and wave at my best friend and get back down while the other person's saying their lines. I'm upstaging the hell out of this as a donkey.
Amazing.
And then there was this plastic leaf I remember and going, I'm gonna effing commit. Wait, can we swear on this?
Yeah, you can swear.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna fucking commit to this. And so I ate half of this plastic leaf to prove to people I was a donkey.
Oh my god!
Wow.
So
That's
I was
commitment.
very method as a 4-year-old.
Clearly.
You poisoned yourself.
So I would have to say to this day that's still my favorite role.
Wow. Understandably.
Just to relate to you, Joshua, my first role was when I was 8 on stage as a reindeer. So I was also a 4-legged creature.
That's
my first one.
amazing.
And there's
That's
photos,
great.
and I'm in the back row, and I'm a foot taller than everyone else.
Oh.
Were you tall as a kid?
Yeah.
I always thought it was a
guess.
teenage thing, you'd have a basketball growth spurt. I mean, you're not
No,
WNBA,
I mean, yeah,
but-
I'm tall, but I'm 5'11" and a half, so
Yeah.
that's pretty tall. But no, I was pretty big as a little kid too. Yeah, I mean, it was in Newfoundland, so I don't know if Newfies are just shorter people. But in the photo, I'm it's
I'm sure they'll love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to offend them all right now. Yes, most Newfoundlanders are were actually cast for hobbits in. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I love
gonna get
that.
in
Okay,
some
so with both you and Snezhina, both of you had 4-legged creatures as your first I don't know, role, whereas I was a tadpole. I didn't even have legs.
You didn't even make it to animal.
Yeah.
You were a reptile.
I
Barely one.
I was just I hadn't even qualified yet to become an amphibian.
A reptile.
Yeah, that's the
Or
word.
an amphibian, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take it as that. But yeah, I mean, it's funny where we all begin. It'd be quite cute actually to find individual photos of the very first
Yes,
job.
I have it.
Good.
I know it doesn't I don't think it exists,
Ah.
unfortunately, because there was no photos that were being allowed to be taken during the play.
Oh, okay.
And this was a small town of like 8,000 people. So like if you took a photo, the entire town would know and they wouldn't shut up about it for like 2 years. You'd be that asshole that took that photo at that Christmas play that one time.
Right. Fair play. Fair play. Oh my
So,
gosh.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
how did
so-
you get from a donkey then? It was a donkey, right? Was it a donkey?
It was a donkey. Yeah.
Donkey. How? Yeah. To. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I so it all had to do with moving. So I grew up in Pictou, Nova Scotia, went to another small town that I actually thought was a city at the time, called New Glasgow. It was probably went from like 8,000 people to 10,000 people. And and so I did some stuff. I always kind of did acting, but there wasn't really any opportunities for the most part. And when we moved to Halifax, Nova Scotia, there was starting to be opportunities. So my first real paid acting role was as a ghost who came back to his wife in her dreams when I was 17 years old. And because she's old now, and I just keep coming back and like pleasantly haunting her. It was a Harlequin romance movie.
Oh.
And
Okay.
then it was called Blue Moon, and then I take her off to heaven in the end
Aw.
instead of our son. It was that story was all over the place, but
Oh, right.
it was amazing because I got paid like $1,300 a day,
Oh my
And-
gosh.
Whoa.
and I was like 17 years old, and it was awesome. And so anyway, so long story short, did a bunch of acting, got into voice acting, nailed a ton of good commercial work because I discovered early on, at least at that time, most actors that were around me at the time in Halifax, not all, but most, didn't really study much or take many classes or anything. And so my computer just went on screensaver. Can you guys still hear me?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So anyway, so yeah, most of them weren't really doing as much effort into it all as they should have been doing or could have been doing as far as like giving themselves more opportunities. So I found out that most famous actors have great acting coaches, and most of those great acting coaches have written books. And so I read all of them that I could find, and I read books on voice acting and trained myself, and it resulted in landing a lot of work, which was great.
Whoa,
And
I didn't know that you learned voice acting from a book.
that was how I started.
That's incredible.
Well, actually, I could go on another story, but but we only have an hour. But it's, but there
Don't
was,
worry.
but I did have an audition once. Actually, no, before I read the book, I had an audition for this show, and I can't say what it is because it's actually well known in Canada. And they were replacing the lead voice actor because it was a children's claymation. And they were
right.
replacing him because he was moving to LA, and this was slightly before doing voice work remotely was easy. And so they needed somebody else. I didn't know that's what the audition was for. My agent didn't tell me this. I thought I was going in there to put on a costume of this claymation character and do like mall appearances or something.
Oh, cute.
And like total confusion. And so I don't know how I got through that first audition, but I did. And then it was a month of callbacks. There was about 6 callbacks.
Wow.
To the point where I was like, have I already gotten this part and we're recording this? And then right before the last callback, the producer took me aside and said, "You've got it. You got the part. We're going to start recording next week. Don't tell anyone. Give us 2 days and it'll be official." And I was like, this is amazing, because it was going to be something like $100,000
Oh
every
my
6
gosh.
months, like $100,000 a season, 8 hours of work a week. It was going to be awesome. And the guy that left to LA moved back, and I lost the job.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yep.
Oh,
So-
God.
But
You
it
didn't
put
put
me
a
on
hit out on him?
I just, and there's like 3 times
Should've
in
done.
there was a recent situation that wasn't like that, but it was similar as far as as far as animation goes. I keep getting close to getting lead roles, and then something really out of the blue switches it. And so it's very weird, but But that put me on the map for voice acting. And doors opened big time thanks to the work I was putting in for that audition. Because I wasn't talented naturally for voice acting, but I just learned all the skills. And, it's all about the work and the effort. So anyway, during all those years, I went on the cruise ships, worked on the cruise ships as an entertainment host, then a filmmaker. And I just studied screenwriting during that time. Of course, the very first thing I wrote was a romantic feature that no one has seen. I don't know if I'll ever release that one, but it would be like Hallmark level. It's actually called When We're Apart.
Oh, I really want to read it now. Really want to read it.
Oh. It is so friggin' cheesy. I'm going to have to reread it. But anyway, so I wrote the next 6 years was on the cruise ships, which there's an entire series I'm working on for those who don't know that I'm going to be.
Which is fantastic.
Well, thanks. Which I'm also trying to get you as the lead for, but
which doesn't hurt, does it? So
no, but it is. But I like it. And I think it'll be hilarious. But and then I just kept growing as a screenwriter, actor, voice artist, and then eventually acting coach, and then. I think that's me. I think that's my history. And then you and I met in Halifax, eventually connected in Vancouver. And then we were blessed with one of the best people that Vancouver has to offer, which is Najina.
Yeah, 100%.
Stop.
No, it's true. It's true. It's very, very true. I mean, before we kind of go off on a tangent, I'm just curious, just for my own personal thing is how... At the moment, how many scripts, Joshua, do you have on the go?
On the go? Not so this doesn't. Well, I guess on the go is like
that's
okay. Well, because on the go also means kind of completed. So it can mean when I give you the number, it means the ones I'm creatively writing and editing, and it also means the ones that some of them are in producers' hands right now. Mm-hmm. Some of them are they're all being pitched. Nothing's per se being made. Okay. Hold on. Oh, I have to write an episode of Rick and Morty, actually, which is going to be really interesting. I've got the first 12 pages done. I'm not being paid by Dan Harmon or anybody yet. You're supposed to submit for this one thing at NBC, an original script and a script from a known TV show. And Rick and Morty was on the list. So I was like, oh, perfect.
Sweet.
I'd say about 8 or 9 scripts.
Yeah, see, that's a lot. I actually thought that you were probably going to have... I thought you were, in a way, going to say 15. But also...
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but
well, maybe. I I'm now actually thinking of other ones I didn't count. I forgot about the miniseries, the Claymation Children's miniseries.
There's also Pushed.
Oh, shit. Yeah, there's Pushed. And it's weird, too, because, I really... Because you don't know what's going to succeed, what's not going to succeed. And so it's not just scripts, but each script has its own budget. Because I have an animated feature film called Albert. I could say it because it's now been copywritten. And it's think of it like kind of in the comedic styles of Shrek, but it's about chimpanzees. And but there's a lot of good stuff in it. There's American Sign Language in it. And it's a very hopeful, inspirational type of thing. But the budget for that, it's already cost me money entering it into screenwriting competitions, but I've also paid people in the signing community to go over the script and confirm that I'm being culturally, properly inclusive, supportive. I did everything right. So even the research stages cost, but you can't really submit a animated feature film anywhere without having some concept art.
Yeah.
So that's going to cost me about $3,000 or $4,000 to get concept art done. Wow. I also have a mini series that's Claymation Children, and that one's going to cost me $8,000 to storyboard. Wow. And so the comedy sketch series we just budgeted, it's going to be $500 a sketch, which is actually pretty cheap, but that's going to be another $8,000 because we're going to do 16 from September to October. So it's thank God I'm getting paid as a video editor right now, because you need to be a millionaire to not just get all these scripts out, but to have all the supplemental material you need.
Of course. But I mean, that's the real life, isn't it? that's, to be honest, I feel like I'm always saying to people that you have to speculate to accumulate. So you always have to invest, you always have to invest in training or things that you want to happen in the future. So obviously with you, with having to storyboard and concept art and even just submitting your scripts to competitions cost you, doesn't it? Like, it's not
that's
free.
$2,000 a year.
Gee
It
whiz.
cost me because I have so many scripts and there are so many competitions, but I also keep spreadsheets, of course I do, of each year. And so there's a tab per year on my spreadsheet, and I actually note contests that I didn't get in and what the feedback was. So if I felt that it was good feedback, then I might re-enter the next year if I'm doing updates to the script and whatnot. So I keep a constant track of that as well. But I learned this from John Travolta, out of all people. I saw him in an interview, and he talked about the early days when he was on that TV show, Welcome Back, Mr. Kotter. Mm. And he was like hugely famous, and that show was such a hit. And if anybody hasn't seen it that's listening, go on YouTube and seriously check out clips of Welcome Back, Mr. Kotter. I don't actually know if it now that I think about it, I don't think it stands the test of time. But in any case, John Travolta was like so famous from that. But during that time, all the actors on the show were blowing their money. They were just blowing it on like parties, cars, houses, and everything, because they also expected the show to keep going forever. They didn't went on for a while. John Travolta, though, was the only one that was consistently broke because he put all of his money into acting classes.
Yeah.
And all of his money into training to make him the best actor. And out of all the other actors in Welcome Back, Mr. Kotter, he's easily, the most well-known still to date. So.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. No, it's, no.
I think it would be very naive of somebody to think that they can do all these things without investing. You know what I mean?
But most do, as you know from your experience. Most actors
that's why I'm saying this. Yeah.
Yeah, they play it like it's a lottery.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
So
even
bizarre.
when it comes down to headshots, they're like, "Oh, so okay, I'll just take some this weekend outside in the back of my building." I'm like, "No,
no, you need proper shit, guys.
no." Yeah,
but not actual shit. Like
Good shit.
Good shit. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's that makes a a nice easy spot to maybe start talking about our different perspectives when we all started to be in each other's lives. I'm actually really interested from your perspective, Joshua.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't remember. Because did you meet Snezhina separately when you went to? Did you go to the agency separately, like for an initial interview as well? Okay.
No. So how I remember it is first. Actually, I want to say how I met you, because I think the first time we met was when you joined the class, but I don't think I even met you for you paying the class. I think you paid like e-transfer or something. So I still remember the first day because you were just this like ray of charismatic energy that came into the room. And I was like, wow, she is an excellent person to have in the acting world, because you were just energetic, but yet polite and charismatic. And I was like, Halifax is not right for her. She needs bigger. So I'll always remember that, because you made a really good positive impression. And yeah, but no, as far as Snezhina goes, you and I knew that day that you had to go and talk to her. And I think you were just having a meeting about maybe some up and coming auditions or something. And you thought, and I was still looking for an on-camera agent, because I told you this too, actually, when you first came to Vancouver. I said, you're going to get an on-camera agent before me. And you were like, what?
I don't remember that, actually. I don't remember you saying that to me. Oh.
And I was like, well, honestly, like, if you're talented and you have a unique look, and, that's going to open up some doors. And when I say talented, I mean acting, but I also mean, charismatic, personable, because one thing people don't get about any position in the film industry is when you're being interviewed, and you guys know this, I'm just preaching to the choir. When you're being interviewed or auditioned, part of what they're thinking is, do I want to spend 12 to 14 hours with this person? Because that's every bloody day. And you had that easily. And so I thought, okay, she's got a way more unique look than I do. A very, very beautiful look. And, ginger. And you can do both, British accent, American, Canadian, and others probably. And she's going to get an agent way before me because I'm just the most average looking white male at the time in his 30s, I think, early 30s.
That's selling you short. Come on.
But I just knew it. And I was like, and I'm not, and Hollywood doesn't like males who are middle weight. They like guys that are skinny and defined jawline, or they need you to be very overweight. The little pudgy guy rarely gets cast. So I just knew that was going to be a thing.
Interesting.
And so I landed voice work too. Anyway, long story short, you invited me to come along because you were just going to kind of have an informal talk with Snitchy.
I think it was. Are you sure it wasn't a self-tape?
Yes, I think it was.
What?
And he was going to help out with the reading or something? That would make more sense as to why you would be at the agency.
Oh, yes. Maybe.
I don't know. I made that up. Maybe. I can't remember. Anyway, go ahead, Joshua. Sorry.
But long story short, I came there and I think you made the worst mistake of your life and asked me to talk about myself. And I just simply pitched myself in like a minute and a half. And you were like, fuck, this guy was ready. And I was, you graciously picked me up as a client.
Yeah. And
that was
to be honest, I actually remember you auditioning for something. I think it was something in Toronto. So we were doing the tape.
Was it Supernatural?
No, but it was something where he had to play like a demon.
Yeah.
And
that was Supernatural.
I thought it was Supernatural.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, why were we doing a self-tape? Were they shooting in Toronto?
Because I remember this. I actually taught this to people as far as what to look for in a great agent. And I use you as an example for quite a few things, which you shouldn't be surprised for. You really are, honestly, one of the best agents. And the reason we were self-taping, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, was that the casting director didn't want to see me because I was just new to Vancouver.
Oh, we were doing a push tape.
Yeah, you weren't taking no for an answer. And even in Toronto, I haven't seen, which is where I'm at now, I haven't seen... Most agents don't do this, but the casting director's like, no, we don't want to see him, and you were just simply, fine, I'll record him, press play on the video or not, and I was like, oh my god, she's worth her weight in gold.
Yep.
Yeah.
And guess what? She emailed me and had amazing feedback about you and loved it.
It was nice. It was good.
Yeah, and I'll always remember that. Oh, that was so satisfying. Thank you for reminding me that it was a push tape. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but I'll never forget that one for some reason. It was just really, it was just really satisfying, I guess. But
well, and if I can slip in there, it's easy to be an actor for you because when you see the effort, it made me. I mean, I'm hardworking anyway, but it made me step up. Like at no point did I want to disappoint you. I think Jen and I both talked about that. We're like,
definitely.
If Snigina's going to see this, we were more concerned about your approval most of the time than the casting director's approval.
Oh, 100%. No, he's not just blowing smoke. It's genuine, 100%.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. Well, I guess that makes sense. Well, to be honest, though, and Jen and I have talked about this before, just like the level, and I mean, I do have actors now who are very committed, so I'm not saying that there's not a good level of commitment, but I just feel like the average level of commitment from before, it's like night and day. Night and day.
That's such a shame.
Like, I just feel like everybody that I was representing...
Good or bad?
Bad.
Oh,
I just feel like back when I had you guys and some of my other clients that I'll never forget, they were just so committed. They were on top of everything. They were always involved with different projects. They were just like living and breathing it. And I feel like now it's kind of like a secondary thing. Like, oh yeah, I'll try acting. And kind of like, just do it.
Just
It's yeah.
but why
it's
bother
just not the
applying?
same.
You know.
I don't know. I think it's just because it's so much busier here now, and I honestly feel like Instagram is a huge reason this has happened. The whole influencer thing, I think, just shifted the mindset of people to think, oh, getting famous and being recognized, it's easy, and if I have an agent, it's even easier. And now that I have an agent, everything's just gonna fall into place. And
When I was actively coaching people, the worst sentence I heard too many times from actors was it's something along the lines of I'm growing as an actor thanks to these auditions. And my response was always, why are you waiting for an audition to grow as an actor? That's like, I'm going to become a good runner after my first marathon. That makes no freaking sense.
No.
You need to train, like what is it Will Smith said, if you are ready, you don't have to get ready. It's like auditions
so
are
true.
the
like
end.
that.
Yeah, auditions are the end. They are not like a part of the education. I mean, they are part of the education process, but you can't, a casting director, especially in places like Vancouver, if you didn't do good, they don't have to see you again.
No, that's so true. It's so true.
I think people don't understand that either, because it can be that cut and dry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, it's weird. In Halifax, I feel bad because a casting director friend of mine in Halifax, like the stuff she gets, like some people have, I mean, mostly kind of out there people have, threatened like, oh, I'm going to sue you. Because you're not seeing me for this role and I'm so perfect for it. And you're like, dude, even if you are perfect for it, they just literally don't have to see you and there's nothing you can do about it.
What, like an actor trying to sue a casting director for not seeing them?
Super ridiculous.
Oh my God. And then they never got cast or seen ever again.
Pretty much.
How surprising.
Wow. Yeah. We obviously I know we were friends and roommates, Joshua, but for them to also become so close with Snegina, who was also our agent, is, it's not that commonplace, is it? Really, like it's kind of a.
Honestly, it kind of goes to what Joshua was saying earlier about being so charismatic. Like both of you were just so likable, and we were all young, and I was like, I love these people. I want to adopt these people, make them my friends. You know what I mean? I think they're so great. I think that's the level you want to be at as an actor. You want your agent or the casting or whomever to like you that much, where they're like, wow, I'd love to be friends with this person. They're so great.
I don't see the issue with that either. There was somebody last year, I was talking to, we didn't get into like a heated conversation, but they were just really confused with my perspective. But they were, I said, I don't make friends with people who aren't pushing themselves with their own passions. And it's not because I'm judging people who don't at all. It's just in order for me to stay motivated and love life, I want to see other people pushing themselves with their own passions as well. It's something I'm attracted to in friends and whatnot. And they were a little bit kind of taken aback by that. But I just thought, well, what kind of world are you building for yourself? Because I want to be in a world where everybody I work with, they're ambitious, they're hardworking, but they're hilarious, they're fun, they're supportive.
Yeah.
And so I'm always going to look for that in everybody I'm with. And I think you should be exclusive, when it comes to the people in your
100%.
tight circles that way.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
I
Definitely.
totally agree. And I feel like the older you get, the more picky you're allowed to be. It's for you.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's your world. So yeah, I don't see any
Totally.
problem with that.
But going back to obviously the fact that with working with like acting and voice acting, and that there was kind of specific obstacles in your way. I think you mentioned that, Snegina, when we just had it on pause, about the fact that it's actually got you to the path, like your it almost feels like your true path now as a screenwriter. If
I landed roles some roles I just should have freaking landed, but and it wouldn't have taken me off the trajectory of screenwriting. But yeah, it all led to me being a screenwriter, and and I always was a writer. I was a writer since I was a kid, and I really didn't know it until my late teens. But it helped me so much. One thing I wanted to say too, here's one thing I like as far as actors go. This is something, it's one of the first things I mention whenever I teach an acting class, which is far and few between these days because I'm too busy on my screenwriting. But whenever I do teach an acting class, the very first thing I teach people, I have a 3-hour class on the business of acting. It's the first thing they learn because you're not going anywhere unless you know where the business is now, what to do. And one of the very first things I teach people is, if you're sitting around and trying to figure out, okay, what can I do to advance my career? The very first thing you're going to think to do when you're an actor is go, I'll get new headshots, because it's the easiest thing for an actor to do. But if your headshots are already fine, don't use headshots as I'm advancing my career, because more photos isn't going to help. I don't understand why actors don't. Like, your average headshot is between $300 and $500, depending on where you are and whatnot. Why don't you put a note, make a call out on Facebook, on any one of the film pages that are for your city, and say, I will pay a screenwriter $200 or $300 to write a short film about me. I'm the lead, and I want a storyline that's kind of like this. And then you get a great script. And then you get some crew together, and you consistently are putting yourself in film festivals as an actor, as the lead in these short films. Like, I don't see that consistently, and to me it's one of the most bloody obvious things an actor can do if they're not getting enough auditions and enough work.
Oh my God. It literally, I swear, everywhere I look and listen to, everyone always talks about creating their own work. But the problem is most people don't do it. And to be honest, that's another reason why I wanted to start this podcast, is something that, I can create, even though it's, obviously it's me and it's not really a character, but, it's still creating. I don't know, and I don't understand why people don't do what you said, as in just because why not? Because
I think it's a few things. I think it's, sorry to say, one thing is just laziness. And the other thing is fear, because I feel like some people think they want something, but they're just so unsure of themselves to go to that level.
Absolutely. And they don't, and things just that are obvious because of lack of experience, maybe they don't become obvious. But it's just, even after teaching that in acting classes, I'd say one person in every 2 4-week acting workshop class, one would make a short film, even after I teach it, and go, if you really, but I mean, it all kind of boils down to, I'm really under the belief that actors are, that about 80% of actors out there eventually will find out that acting isn't their number one love.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to say, is that I think that, after listening to things that we're talking about now, that somebody can really look in on themselves and say, okay, I'm not willing to do any of this. What does that say about me as an actor? And should I really be on this career path? Is this really something for me? Because I just feel like the fact that people who rely on their agent for absolutely everything, like, that's just naive. And you really need to understand the competitive nature of this industry and the type of commitment that you need to put in to actually make stuff happen.
It just reminded me of, like, literally the first day of when I was at the Neptune Theatre School, is that literally on day one, the acting teacher said, oh gosh, like, just make sure that acting is really right for you, because, nearly all of you will always be looking up at the breadline. And if that's something that you're not happy with, then you may as well just leave the course now, because it's hard.
Bless that teacher.
I know.
I don't feel like they do that anymore.
No, but also, like, when we came back the next day, 2 people didn't come back.
Oh, good.
But that's good
which
because
was good for them
yeah,
because that put them on their path.
100%.
Exactly.
But I think people need to be a little bit more like that.
Lack of motivation is don't think of it as a positive or negative. Lack of motivation is just a signal to you that there's some aspect of this you don't want to do, and you need to listen to yourself.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I agree. Now I'm like looking at what am I not motivated to do?
It's like,
laundry.
I don't want to
again.
wash the dishes. How dare I? I'm just never going to do that
it's not
again.
on my path.
Yeah, exactly.
Boyfriend's like, well, I'm not passionate about that. That's not my path.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that I know for a fact I've gone away from acting a few times, but I think that's been in a way good for me because I always get excited. I do get excited, but then I think it's like when you get, and now I think that I've got older, I've got a better mindset, so I kind of see every audition, like whether it's voiceover or on camera, I see those auditions as, okay, cool, this is an opportunity for me to do what I enjoy.
Perform.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you can have burnout.
Yeah.
I mean, there was definitely I'm writing under burnout right now. Like I finished a movie and I have to, and as soon as I finished the movie, a day later, I got notes from another competition for the other movie I did last year.
Gosh.
And the notes were complimentive and awesome. And there was a few things though where I go, oh, this looks small, but this affects all three acts. And I had to go right into writing again. So I mean, wow. I love writing, and your passion. Sorry to interrupt. Your passion is like your child. You love your child, but there are days you just don't like them.
Yeah, of course.
No, that's so accurate.
That's
so accurate. To be honest, just before this, I did actually say to Joshua while we were waiting for Snegina to log on, but I was actually recording a self-tape before joining, and Lee, my husband, bless him, he ain't an actor, right? But he is, it's a nightmare doing lines with him, and lines I say, obviously, as in acting, nothing else.
Sides.
Sides.
In Hollywood, you have to actually.
Yeah, you have to specify just in case. But it's a nightmare because he will just he'll like wander, or like he'll wander around and my eye line's just gone, or he'll try and turn the camera off before I've even said my last line, or he'll just, if I finish, he goes boom, and I'm like, no, Lee, god damn it, like I literally have the last beat that I need to do and you've just like gone boom, that's great, and I'm like, so I do love him, but I don't always like him.
That's everything.
Hilarious.
Everything you really love.
Yeah.
There are the days.
Yeah. There are the days.
But I wanted to say though is that like acting was the number one foundation. To see what blew my mind is when I fully committed. So Vancouver was basically, I was kind of doing so well as an actor in Vancouver. Like, trust me, by doing so well, I meant casting directors were still seeing me. I wasn't landing roles, but the fact that casting directors still want to see you, that is the true testament that you're doing well as an actor. But anyway, so I was doing well enough, but I don't know, the better the auditions, the better the scripts, the more I realized I loved screenwriting more. I still loved acting, but I was getting really ticked that I wasn't having as much time writing that I wanted to, and
I remember that
became a huge epiphany for me. And but so once I dove into the screenwriting world 100%, I was shocked at how many people out there who are learning screenwriting that just didn't know things that, if it wasn't for my acting background, like I would have been so. Like, it just blew my mind. Like, how do I describe it? Like, a character's objective, in the most simplistic example, like that is something that takes some screenwriters a year or two to really understand and learn. Whereas an actor, you just do that every single audition. You're just like, well, what's my objective? What's my super objective in the story? What's my just objective in this moment? I don't like using the word objective, but for those who took acting classes from university, that's how they'll describe it. I like to say need, because I like using emotional words, not generic, unemotional words. But anyway, but that kind of stuff. So acting actually made me a better writer and probably cut 10 years off my writing career. Just because of everything I learned.
But then doesn't also that tie in as well, like with the beginning of when you were saying about, how Christopher Nolan was trying to figure out how to sort stuff and then realize actually, they had the exact problem on like a $200 budget short film. And it's funny how everything always seems to inform something
the other
else. Yeah.
Well, and I remember too, there was one night where when we were roommates in the really great place in Vancouver, and I'm not being sarcastic because that was a sweet,
it was
sweet 3-bedroom. I remember one night, and please correct me if I got any of this wrong, but there was one night where I was writing, and I had no clue that I did this when I wrote. And I probably still do it to date. I have no idea. I probably look crazy in a coffee shop, but apparently, according to you, I do facial expressions all the way through when I'm writing, especially character dialogue. Like you can see the facial expressions of every single character. And you liked watching, like you weren't like sitting there and like spying on me and crap, but like whenever you'd like go to the kitchen or back, you'd like catch a glimpse of me like doing all these stupid character faces because I was so into what I was writing.
Yeah, but I feel like I got the idea of the script because I was basically seeing all the emotion going through the arc of your face. And so I was like, oh, that's an intense moment right there. Oh, don't know which character that is, but hell.
And that's the thing, like my last one, the one I'm editing right now is about chimpanzees that want to go to space. So I can only imagine what kind of facial expressions I'm doing.
Oh,
it's
epic.
Just
amazing.
Yeah. Maybe you need to set up like a live feed webcam.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh my God. Actually, I thought of an idea the other day that I think would gain traction because the one thing screenwriters need to do and are starting to do, and one thing actors desperately need to be consistently doing, and I hate to say this, but they need to be on social media. Yeah. You don't necessarily need to, but the way this was described to me, I know we were going to focus a little bit more on screenwriting, but I don't know. But in general, as far as this is just one thing that blew my mind. I was at TIFF and I won't say who the producer was, but it was a big lecture with massive Hollywood producer, and Sandra Oh, the actor, was there, and so was what's her name? Ellen DeGeneres' ex.
Portia de Rossi?
Yes.
No,
they're still together.
No, they're together still. Yeah.
Just broke
anyway, they were on stage. They were on stage with this producer, and the producer said flat out, if it's a big budget movie, then every actor counts, basically, even the day actors for the most part. And if you did an awesome audition and someone else just as unknown as you did just as good of an audition, and we can't make a decision, we're going to go on your social media and see how many followers you have. Because followers equal audience, and it equals money. And and you should have seen Anne Heche, and you should have seen the expression of Anne Heche and Sandra Oh. They were mortified by it. So was I.
Yeah.
But
wow,
it makes sense. And so I thought of this idea because I wrote a new pilot for a new series last year in 5 days under necessity of entering into this competition. And the result was astonishingly positive.
It's
I didn't expect... It was good.
No, it's so good.
But I kind of thought to myself, what if this would get me followers? What if I live streamed? I asked someone, give me a topic and an environment or something, and I live streamed 24 hours a day. Me just obviously you'd even see me sleeping. I'd have pajamas on, and just 5 days straight, I'd be
No,
writing.
You'd get more followers, Joshua, if you didn't have pajamas on when you were sleeping.
I was going to say.
You could create an OnlyFans account and everything.
I was going to say that. Jen, we have the same mind.
Yeah.
Same filthy mind.
Sorry, Joshua, you're probably dying.
No, but that's I opened that one up, and it would be, and then I would just release whatever brand new story online for people to read and see if they liked it or not. Yeah. And of course, the trolls would hate it because most of the online world is I hope I'm not breaking people's illusion, but most of the online world is 15-year-old boys and BuzzFeed. That's who you're really talking to. So,
wow,
15-year-old boys and BuzzFeed.
15-year-old boys and BuzzFeed. Well, I'm very tempted to use that as the episode title, to be fair, but I think that might be a little bit confusing.
A conversation with Joshua, 15-year-old boys in BuzzFeed. That's going to skyrocket this podcast. And everyone's going to be really ticked when they find out there's nothing scandalous about this
Exactly.
thing.
It's just a throwaway line, which I love about it. But it just seemed like a perfect title.
But yeah, so as far as screenwriting goes, it was the acting that really helped propel it forward and understand story so much quicker. And yeah, I love it. I think it's just the best thing in the world. And the best high for me is when something I wrote, I actually walk on set and that world was created. That's the biggest high on the planet. And I don't think like there's a sci-fi series that I want to eventually get out and but has a lot of heart to it, and it's actually a growing up story for a character, and it's
I remember that one.
Yeah, and that'll eventually circle back and I'll finally get to pitching that out there too. But that one, like for example, if everyone's wearing uniforms, there won't be a day on like when I'm show running it, producing it, and writing for it that I won't be wearing the bloody uniform as well. Like I'll be completely getting into
what
it
a
as
keener.
well.
I love it.
Why not? You know?
No. Well, why not? I mean, the thing is that it would be, well, it's something you've created, so why not be jazzed about being part of the whole experience by
oh yeah,
also joining the cast costume. I mean, why not? So we kind of want to have this thing that when we have guests on, that we're going to ask them just 3 questions to kind of wrap everything up. There's no rhyme or reason necessarily to these questions, but I'm excited. Yeah, we're just going to go for it. Cool. All right. So favorite slushy taste?
Oh my God. You just brought me back to it being 8 years old.
Amazing.
Wow. Has anyone ever done that? Like, do you remember? Oh my God, I love it when that happens. When somebody says something and you're instantly transported to like the smell, the taste, and the life of your childhood.
Yeah, I was just there.
Oh my
God.
God.
Nice. Cool.
Glad
I transported you guys.
You just ninja'd this, Jen. That was insane.
Thanks.
I think this might have been one of the last times I even had a slushie that didn't have alcohol in it. Which it was specifically a root beer slushie from the laundromat in Pictou, Nova Scotia. Nice. And no one ever used the laundromat. We all had laundry machines. There was no reason for a laundromat, but they made a killing off the slushies.
I actually love the fact that it kind of gave me a very accurate picture of you having a slushie in a laundromat, actually.
Right. Oh, wait, what about Snegina? What about you?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Because this is the first time we're doing this.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Go on, Snegina.
I know. I was
Take
like,
it back.
What about me?
Yeah.
No, well, funny. I had a 7-Eleven near my house, so I had a lot of, we call them Slurpees, when I was younger. So I really liked to mix, do like the top of it as cream soda and then the bottom as Pepsi. The only reason I didn't pick Coca-Cola is because Coca-Cola was more liquid and the Pepsi one would stay solid longer, so it wouldn't mix with the top flavor. So it was cream soda and a little Pepsi on the bottom. Yeah.
You were like bartending your drink at that age. You were like, okay, well, if I'm going to layer this properly.
Yeah, I'm going to mix all
Pretty
this.
much.
Now here, I'm going to take my lighter. There you go. It's on fire now.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy! Wow. See, now I feel so boring because I'm just gonna go straight up strawberry. I'm not really like an ice.
I thought you were gonna say like blue.
No, not red. No, I just love strawberry so much, and I can actually almost taste it.
Do you remember where your first one was, though? Do you remember like?
I'm pretty
first strawberry
sure. Experience. Wow. My first strawberry experience, keeping it not in the way my mind just went, but
no, mine went there too.
Okay, well that's at least. I don't feel quite so bad now, but yeah, I think my first strawberry slushy was probably in a newsagent's on the way home from school. Do you know what a newsagent's is, guys?
Is that like a paper stand? Like a newspaper stand?
It's like a newspaper shop with and you can get sweets like pick a mix and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and they had. I think they only had maybe 2 flavors. So it was either strawberry or something. I think something blue. It's like something blue or like purpley blue.
That's why I said blue.
Yeah, I know. Maybe
You know-
maybe a little bit witchy there, Snizzy.
You know what flavor tastes terrible as a slushy, but I love it in so many other things like cake and whatnot. Which flavor do you think I'm thinking of?
I don't know why, but I thought blueberry.
Cherry?
No. Vanilla.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Vanilla slushy
no.
is disgusting, but like,
Yeah,
I
that's
love
not
vanilla
good.
as a flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Random.
That's a great question, Jen.
too sweet.
Thanks.
Oh,
That
thanks.
is
Wow,
just
that
crazy.
totally
Yeah.
opened everything up. Actually, before I ask the second question, because I do think it's quite interesting for people to know the time travel we're doing right now. So for me, it is now 5:30 in the evening. Joshua, what's the time for you?
12:27 p.m. Eastern Time.
And Snezhina?
9:27 a.m. Pacific
Yeah.
Standard Time.
Nice.
I'm the lucky one.
Yeah, you're
lucky one.
you're kind of
Yes,
you're only just
seriously.
getting into your day. Like that's as in like you're fully awake. You're
Yep.
whereas
I watched
poor
some TikTok
Snezhina-
videos. I had breakfast.
Nice.
Had a coffee. I'm not supposed to, but I did.
I'm just starving in my closet.
starving. She's starving in her closet. I don't know why I did that, but it just seemed funny.
Oh, I'm not
great.
gonna-
Oh dear. Moving on. Sorry about that. So question 2. All right, I'm going to put this to Snezhina first. If there was a movie made about you, who would play you?
Oh, that's such a good question.
It's
Oh
not
my
original,
God.
but
Jennifer,
you know.
Jennifer Bradley.
Oh, I couldn't be as cool as you. Come on, you're
You
gonna have to
could
pick
so.
someone far
I'm
more
not
beautiful.
cool. Oh no, this is a really hard question, Jen.
I know.
Who do you
welcome.
guys think?
Oh, I've got both of them picked for you. I want jokingly. I was going to say Cyndi Lauper today,
That's
which would
cool.
make no sense, but I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting.
I think Judi Dench would win the Oscar doing it as you, but my actual pick would be Emily Blunt.
Oh yes, yes, that's exactly who I would think too.
Flattered. I would love her to play me. I would die. I would cry. Cry
would.
over her.
She'd nail it. She'd be great.
Yeah. Okay, Joshua,
that's
what
a good
about
one.
you?
Well, that's not fair. Snezhina didn't pick hers.
Well, I know, but Snezhina just she copped out. She said me. She's being too lovely.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. For me, I'm gonna have to. God, who would I want to
Yeah.
play me?
Yeah.
I might be something else, but I don't know. But I feel like if my inner voice was an actor, it would be John Mulaney. So I'd like John Mulaney to play me. Is
Okay.
Mulaney? Is that his name? The stand-up comedian?
I'm like, who's John?
Yeah, I'm like that too.
John-
God. Sorry, John Mulaney, if you ever listen to this.
Oh my God, look him up. Wait,
I
Do I
will.
have him wrong? Yeah, I was right. John
Oh.
Mulaney.
Okay, I'll look him up. Maybe I'll
He-
probably recognize his face and in
His
acting.
stand-up is fantastic, but honestly, the way he talks is exactly how my brain works. So, yeah,
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
John Mulaney.
Awesome.
Or the rock biter from the Never-Ending Story, the rock eater from the Never-Ending Story. Those are my 2 picks.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
I love.
yeah.
I love.
Yeah, there's a
Jen's
lot of
me
love for the
crazy.
never-ending story. Me, it's a tough one, and not just because they're ginger, but I actually just love them. But it would be a toss-up between Emma Stone and Amy Adams. I love them both
it.
dearly.
Knew it.
But also, I think Emma Stone would probably get
Yeah.
my awkward weirdness.
I think Emma Stone would have to be the one in my eyes for you.
I'm more of a fan of Amy Adams for you
She-
for a comedy.
Really?
But
Oh,
for,
for
a
a comedy,
drama,
yeah.
I feel bad because I'm gonna say her name wrong. Saoirse Ronan.
Oh,
Saoirse?
Ronan.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a drama.
Yeah.
For a drama.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm
Ooh,
still down with that.
I
I'm all
like.
down with that. Cool. Right.
Yeah,
All right. So I
this is
guess
fun.
That
yeah,
was
it
fun.
was it's kind of interesting. And okay, so the very last question is, what was the show that really kind of inspired you to do what you do?
So TV show or movie.
It can be a TV
Is-
show or movie.
Yeah, okay. The one that kind of inspired me to get into the industry and do it. I think it kind of, I have to pick 2. One was The Neverending Story because that's when acting became a dream for me.
Yeah.
And but when acting and kind of screenwriting and everything became a reality for me, I'd have to say The West Wing.
Oh, interesting choice.
Yeah, I know. It's weird, but like if you listen to the dialogue from the show The West Wing, Aaron Sorkin writes rhythmically, and it's been one of the biggest lessons I've learned as an actor and a screenwriter, because as an actor I always looked at scripts and went like audition scripts and being like, is there a rhythm to this or not? And if not, that told me the level of work the screenwriter was putting into it. And I'd always, and if there wasn't much, I'd have to invent a rhythm to it that sounded good. But I do a rhythm pass in my editing where I make sure, because basically Aaron Sorkin has taken things like Shakespeare's iambic pentameter, which is da-da, 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 and make sure that that's in the speech. So it's why it's so pleasant to listen to. And he always blew my mind, because anything you listen to, anything you watch that he wrote, you're just zoned right into it. And it's because he does it musically. So I think that that's what made me geek out and go, yeah, I want to get into this, because he can captivate people just walking and talking. So I want to do that.
Solid choice. Snezhina?
Mine's a two-parter.
Cool.
Because I'm not an actor, but actually as a kid I was very much an actor. And I actually
we've established
think it was
your reindeer days.
Yeah, true.
Yes. But I also did like plays all the time when people were over. I feel like I was thinking about this recently. It was a missed opportunity for me, which I can talk about in another episode. But if I was to have become an actor, I think, and you're gonna laugh, the show that made me want to act was The Amanda Show with Amanda Bynes, where she did sketch comedy and did all the different characters. Because I just thought, here's this beautiful girl, and she's just being so weird and out there. It's like kind of like when you first see Emma Stone and you're like, oh, great, like I love her. It was the same thing with me, but years earlier, obviously, with Amanda Bynes, how she just went for it. And I was like, if I was an actor, like that's the kind of like physical comedy I'd want to do.
Amazing.
So that was that for me. But as an agent and just like a film and TV connoisseur, I think that the shows that got me really into everything were shows like Rome on HBO. Just because of like the depth and the detail and the level, and it was just so, you're there, like it's just so rich.
Yeah.
And also Battlestar Galactica.
Of course.
Yes. It's just, to me,
I just
still the
thought there
best
was just
drama
it's just
ever.
It's so good. It's so captivating. There's so many levels to it. You get a bit of everything in it. It's just so good. But yeah, shows like that just really give me tingles, and when you're watching them you're like, wow, like it's so that's the magic of film and TV making, in my opinion.
100%. Oh God, I wish I'd seen Battlestar Galactica when I was younger. I didn't get exposed to it until Joshua, and I'm so thankful. So thankful.
There's always that one person that exposes you to Battlestar, and
so
you'll never forget them.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
No.
For me, to be honest, mine's kind of a random one. And both of I think Snezhina might have seen it, but I don't know if you have, Joshua. But there's a BBC miniseries, Pride and Prejudice, and
So good.
it's so good. It was out in 1995, and I remember watching it. I was away with my family.
This isn't the one with Colin.
It is with
Yes.
Colin Firth. Yes.
You showed it to me. You
I
don't
did.
remember?
I don't.
You showed it to me too.
Oh, see, I'm like a dealer. I'm a dealer of Pride and Prejudice. I just show it to all and sundry. I don't remember that.
Watching that with you, and I think Kate was there at the same time. Watching that with you two was like not knowing soccer, which I don't know anyway, but not knowing soccer and having experts beside you describe every single thing that's happening. Because when Colin Firth came out of the pond and his shirt wasn't even see-through, I was like, why are you guys like swooning over this? And Jen, I think it was you that was like, it's about how it's implying that it could be see-through, and I'm like, what the fuck is that about? Like, it was just like you guys gave a beautiful play-by-play. Oh yeah, exactly. And you guys gave such a beautiful play-by-play. I feel like I learned so much about English culture, and it was That was one of my favorite experiences. That was great.
Oh, good. Well, no, anyway, I remember just watching it as a kid and being like, wow, God, how amazing it would be to be, wearing these kind of costumes and have my hair done this specific way. And, you get to act with people like this amazing looking man, Mr. Darcy. Oof, obviously I was too young to even realize, like, who he actually was and stuff. But
what woof meant.
Yeah.
But...
Woof. Well, yeah, exactly. Woof. But yeah, I definitely all over
if anybody wants to watch a Pride and Prejudice movie or show, they should watch that one, because I had watched the Hollywoodized versions before, and I was kind of like, snooze, and then I watched that one and I was like, wow,
it's
I have a
gritty.
New appreciation
so
for
much
this story.
drama.
It's beautiful.
Oh, so good.
And the lead actress, she's
Jennifer
amazing.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, and she never got her due success in Hollywood. She's done Hollywood stuff. She was in Contagion as one of the scientists, leading scientists. But it's just like, and maybe that wasn't what she wanted. Maybe she didn't want to be Hollywood and she wanted to be mainly British. But she's just
the crazy thing is, she's actually American.
Talented.
She's American.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Oh my God! I had no idea.
I know, because when I heard her talk for the first time, I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Wow.
Whoa. So, yeah.
That's like finding out that Friends was filmed on a set in LA.
All right, don't tell her about this right now, Jen. She's going to need some time on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's crazy.
On that bombshell, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. But it's been absolutely amazing having you on, Joshua, as our first guest of Actor and Agent. It's just been very easy.
Yeah,
thank you.
So much fun.
And now you're announcing the end of the podcast series entirely.
Yeah, exactly. And
we can't get any better than this.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was that bad. I was that bad, but
no,
it was. This was awesome. I love it, and I've listened to the other podcasts you guys did. I can't wait to hopefully come back, and I'm going to be an avid audience member myself, of course.
Brilliant.
Already am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, to anyone who's listening, could be about 6 people now. If you like our podcast and you want to share it around, feel free to tell people or give us a little review on any one of the many podcast suppliers. Could we say? Yeah, app. There we go. Apps out there. But until our next episode, it's.
Good morning, Snigina. Good night, Jen.
And good day, Joshua.
There you go. See, we got that. That's great.
Yay. Oh, bye.
It's because of our time zones.
Perfection.